Hey everyone, welcome to the Mama Genius podcast. You wake up tired again. Your body moves before your mind does. Checking lists, pouring coffee, anyone feel like that? Managing life on autopilot. You become so good at keeping things running that somewhere along the way, you stop noticing how you feel. But what if burnout isn't a failure? What if it's a signal? Your body's quietly whispering to you that it's time to come home to yourself. That's what this episode is going to be about. Christine Williamson knows the ache of trying to be everything for everyone. Through humor, empathy, and deep awareness, she helps moms turn exhaustion into awakening, guiding them into rediscovering balance, purpose, and peace within the beauty of the chaos of motherhood. This is your reminder that it's never too late to realign, rebuild, and return to that version that you've been waiting for underneath all the noise out there. Welcome to the Mama Genius podcast. I'm your host, Michelle DeKeyser, and this is your calm pause in the middle of mom life and business building. Each episode will take a few minutes to slow down, reconnect, and reflect on what matters most. Because you're safe to slow down and you don't have to do it alone. Let's breathe together. And so I'm bringing up Christine today, and we're just going to jump into circle a little bit. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Christine's been one of the members of Connecting Mamas as well, and has been in circle with me so many times. I really wanted to bring her up to show what this is all like. And one of the principles that we're going to talk about today is listening without judgment or discernment. Now, when we get into circle and you hear women express themselves, the judgment doesn't really come, at least for me, anyways. I don't know about you, Christine. The judgment always comes for me when I'm talking and I'm starting to cycle in and listen to myself. And I'm like, is that right or what? And so when I think about this principle the most, I really think about it is when you're listening to your own heart speak, when it's your turn to talk. How do you feel in that principle, Christine?
Yeah, you know what? I can honestly sometimes feel like the judgment coming from within me where I don't have it for anyone else, right? And you can sit in silence with someone else, you can sit with them in their pain or their excitement or whatever, and there isn't any judgment. But the moment that you go inside yourself, all of a sudden the shoulds and have tos and what about this and if only you would have done it like that, it comes into play. And that's the daily struggle that I can find.
And so, as we go through the beginning of each of these episodes, what I'm really talking about is principles that help guide how these conversations happen. That was the one for today, which actually leads us right into the topic of today, which is when we're looking at from burnout to balance. And so we'll be going into circle with this notion. And so I'm just going to turn it over to Christine to stitch us on in.
So I'm Christine and I'm from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I am really looking forward to having this conversation. It is something that is extremely close to my heart and something that I work with every single day of my life.
And I'm Michelle DeKeyser, stitching in from Franklin, Wisconsin. And I'm stitching in with my candle. We've been focusing in the group this month on curiosity. And I'm really opening up the idea of curiosity, especially as we're talking about the word balance. That word has been something that's really to me. And we'll get into that in just a moment as we open up a circle. But as always, the next step is for us to just get into space, into center for just a moment. I'm going to ask Christine to sit back. If you're driving, just listen, don't do all the pieces. If you're multitasking, take a moment for the next few minutes to sit with us and really get in there. We're going to start with this pause by taking a deep breath in together. As you release, blow it out like a balloon. Feel like deflating and notice what your breath does. We're going to go in again and blow it back out like a balloon. We're going to take a moment to do a box breath. So we're going to breathe in and count of 4. Breathe it in. And then hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then hold at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how you feel. And then we're going to breathe in again. Deep, deep, deep breath that you're taking all day. Just keep breathing in. And then slowly release it. Just let it deflate slowly. Filling your belly. See what each of these do for you and that calmness and how you feel. But really, I want you to just take a second, if you're able to close your eyes with us. And I really want you to ground into your feet right now and really just feel your feet on the ground, feel your socks, feel that moment of just feeling supported. Now, Christine and I just stitched in to create this energy. We're taking a spot. I think I'm gonna start doing this in the next episode of giving a pause for you to stitch in with us and saying what your intention is for listening to this podcast. So every time we give an intention, it helps move us forward in actually creating a life of what we actually want. I want you to visualize yourself grounding into this with that intention that you're bringing in. Think about wherever you may be about. We're going to be speaking about burnt out and those feelings that come up. And then just breathe into it, feeling your feet and move that up through your body. Just taking a couple deep breaths. If anything feels tight, take a few extra breaths. And as you get to the crown of your head, feel the energy change a little bit. We're just energetic beings. It's a matter of how our energy is flowing between us. And just breathe into that and feel us connected together in this moment. Place your hand on your heart. Feel your heart for the moment. Wondering, how do you feel? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling sad, angry? Just check in with yourself. And then ask, how do you want to feel? Maybe you're happy with the way you feel or content. And just breathe into that and focus on how you want to feel as we go into this conversation of going from burnout to balance. Place your hand on your lap and take a deep breath as you open your eyes. Now, during an actual circle, I'd give a moment for us to reflect and write down our feelings, which we don't have time for in this format. Before we get started, I wanted to just share a quick story about balance. I was at a trip in Cancun and someone had brought different rocks. We were asked to pick a rock from the box. And I picked out the rock, I turned it over, and the word balance was there. And all I want to do is put the rock back. I'm like, I don't want balance. When I think about balance, I think about the legal scales and I feel that pressure to keep it equal. So then I asked myself, why did I get this rock? What should I learn from it? Right. And so maybe it's about redefining what balance means for me. I can't find the rock anywhere. I brought it home. I don't really remember seeing it now that I think about since then. And so I'm like, did I lose my balance? It made me laugh, but at the same time, like maybe that is something I'm still working that definition and that finding. So I kind of wanted to open up circle with that idea of Christine and I have had lots of conversations about balance, but when we're in circle, it's not this back and forth conversation. It's just this experience of how do you feel, what's inside of you from the breath, from these ideas, from this concept, from this time. I'm going to open it up to Christine to start the circle.
Well, I actually love this because I used to think that balance meant that picture of the scale of justice and how it all had to be equal. And I am a mom of high needs, complex special needs daughter. And so there was no such thing as balance in my life. However, I learned that there's a difference between complete sacrifice and overgiving for family and also trying to find some time for yourself. I found out the hard way what it looked like to have a severe burnout from that. And at the same time, life doesn't stop. You still have this child who needs you full time. I still had my husband. I still had my other daughter. I still had all of these things. And so what I actually learned is that it was more like the tides of the ocean, and that They come in and they go. And sometimes it's a high tide, sometimes it's a low tide. Sometimes there is a high tide with a storm and it's quite reckless. Other times it's a low tide and it's calm, or it's a high tide and calm. To me, what balance meant was more like ebb and flow. It was more like the harmony that comes from the symphony of life. And that when you allow things to just come and go and embrace yourself where you're at, I learned that it had way more to do with my body, mind, and spirit than anything else. And the alignment first needed to come from within myself. And that's where I could find balance. It wasn't like the scales of justice, it wasn't like an equal teeter totter. For me, that's how I use the word balance in my life now. I am complete.
I'm going to beam her right now with my love and support. And what this means for me is that I'm acknowledging what she just said through this motion. During circle, we wouldn't be talking or commenting on anything she has said, but it's her way to receive, as she put her hands out like this, to receive that from me and from anyone else who would actually be in circle, or those of you that are listening could also send your energy through time and space to her as well. Because when we acknowledge our shares and who we are, we start to get more confidence in being able to express that more. And the receiving allows us to go, oh, it wasn't as hard as I thought. And so for me, when I look at the word balance, I change it to rhythm. So I found it odd when the word balance keeps coming up for me. So it's obviously a sign for me to talk into it a little bit more, to breathe into it and figure out what that means. And we've had a lot of conversations about balance and how we do that through motherhood and with my move coming up and all of those things. And I don't know about you listening, but when you're going through a transition and a move, all the tension and how you do things is different than how someone else can do it. So those conflicts come up. There is no balance in that. It's about finding a way to converge those roads any which way that you can. One of those things that I did was my husband didn't like the way that we were moving things around. He thought that we should get everything into the space and be done with it. I've been wanting to purge, wanting to clean out, wanting to throw out. And so for me, that was what I wanted. So he grinned and bears, but then in response to what he said, I moved all these boxes downstairs yesterday. And then my back was starting to hurt this morning. And when we talked about it, he's like, maybe it's time to come up with a plan. I guess that's what I wanted, was let's figure out a plan together, but it just hadn't happened yet. So that's where I figure the word balance really comes in, is figuring out a way to take the different ways that we do things, which a lot of times will lead us into burnout if we just try to do it our own way and not try to understand where the other person's coming from. And that is, let me tell you, really hard. I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it took almost 3 days for any of that to even start to transpire, but it is transpiring. And that's probably why this topic even came up today for us to record. It's such a vital thing for us to think about as we're going into this. And for me, truly, it really is being able to share these ideas out loud and hear myself think them through, and really trying not to judge myself right now, as that is one of the principles we're talking about as well today, in these thoughts. And that's where I feel the judgment always comes in. It's not what Christine would say or someone else. It's like hearing myself going, should I share that? Is that okay? Especially with the recording, because it's different when it's in circle and nothing's recorded. But now we're like actually knowing, willingly recording this for others to understand, even brings a whole new different level to this concept of really not judging yourself. I hope that this share was helpful for those of you listening. And on that note, I am complete. And honestly, sometimes this is the hardest part for me to receive. But this is training my brain to know that it's okay to receive. And it's actually good to receive. And it's allowing Christine to give in the process. So thank you. And so I'm going to ask you to stitch us out. As we stitched in, we like to hear everyone's voice. And now when we stitch out, we're stitching out rather than our intention for coming, what we've gained.
Okay, so I'm Christine, stitching out from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. And what I gained is I loved the ebb and flow and the tides and harmony. You talked about rhythm, and all of those have the same theme of how we want to change what balance looks like and what it feels like to us. I love that the idea of rhythm. I just sort of felt myself creating a rhythm when you said that, and I loved that. It was a really great edit, another little piece to add for me. So that's what I got out of this.
I'm Michelle, stitching out from Franklin, Wisconsin, with a feeling of more balance, with a new definition of adding rhythm to it rather than just trying to remove the word, but to find a new flow for it and realizing that part of it is understanding where someone else is coming from to be able to create that flow. If this podcast feels like a calm pause in your day, that's exactly what Mama Genius Circles are for. Circles are virtual gatherings where moms come to pause, connect, and listen to what their hearts are really saying. It's a space where you feel supported, gain clarity, and take those crazy ideas that light you up and really make them real. Bring your coffee or your candle and come as you are and reconnect to the women beneath the busy to-do list. Join us at our next free circle at mamageniushub.com/co-create. Can't wait to see you at the next circle. Now, I really want to jump in, Christine, because I know you're a member of Connecting Mamas and everything. For me, I was hesitant to slow down and really offer circles only at the moment, right? However, I've been learning that there actually aren't a lot of communities that are offering a space to slow down. It's more learning, more this, but how do we slow down to take in the learnings to figure out what's going on? So I'd love to hear your take on how you feel about Circle, what drew you to it.
Integration. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I totally agree about learning, doing more and more. What can we do to be better moms, be better partners, be better friends, be better businesswomen, be better, do better, feel better. Underneath all of that, there is a real need, a real desire to integrate and to take in what we've learned, maybe categorize it in different ways so that we can start to implement what we've been learning. Circle does that. And it stays with me long after I've been to one. The feeling of connection stays with me. It feels like I've joined hands with people as if we were in a room together or linked arms. The journey can feel very isolating and very lonely. We're afraid to say something out of judgment or criticism. And this circle or these circles that you create pauses all of that mind storm and brings us back into what's possible.
Oh, I love that so much. And it really is about the pause and integration. Now, I know that your program is all about integration. So I'd love for you to tell us about the burnt out. I know you felt that a lot, especially having an adult child who you will probably be taking care of for the rest of her life. I know that plays into all of it. So I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about that and your why behind it.
Yeah, my why, it really is about moms being able to bring themselves to their own life. And so often, what I said in my therapist's office years ago when I was experiencing this life-threatening burnout is that what's missing in my life is me. I've been able to create this strong marriage with my husband, and we're looking after this complex special needs daughter, and we have another daughter as well. We've got life and work and all of these things in there that what was missing was me. And what I want for moms is that we matter too. It's not just about our families or our career or whatever else. We often think, I have to be this for someone else. And it was one of my pet peeves about Mother's Day cards, all these things like she sacrifices everything for her family. She's so amazing. And it's like, okay, what if I don't want to do that anymore? Am I still amazing? And the answer is yes. And so that's what I do with other moms, that you matter too. And there is an absolute way for you to find a way to be in the equation of your own life. And it's not about sacrificing your family either. It's not about leaving behind things that matter. It's that you're including yourself. And so that is what is really close to my heart. The movement that I want to create is that moms matter too, linking those arms together and coming together because our families need it and they notice a difference when we're looking after ourselves. I think that they actually want us to do that more than they even know. And I think that it's just something that is critically important.
Tell everyone how they can get hold of you and if you have any offers or anything you want to share.
Sure. So my website is mybeaconofhopecoach.com. And so you can go on there and there's a gift on there. And I can give you, I'm sure we can put it in here somewhere, but I can give them a link that they can do in it. It is like a gift for them to help them to pause and to help them to see their own worth, their own value, and to just sit with that. It's such a critically valuable part of our lives as moms to see our worth and value as part of our family unit.
I love that so much because it really does come back to that. Christine, I want to thank you so much for circling with me today and being vulnerable and sharing your inner thoughts with the audience today. My goal is to go a little bit deeper to show people what Circle is about and how it comes out. I'm asking now for it to be recorded, which is not usually a principle of Circle, to leave what's stayed in Circle private, but my goal is to show more people what Circle is, show more women, and how we can get more women circling, creating their own circles. However that works. Thank you for sharing this space with us today. I hope this reflection gave you a moment of calm and reminded you that you're safe. Please share with someone who also needs to slow down. If you are craving more connection, come join a Mama Genius Circle, where we breathe, reflect, and create together. You'll find all the details at mamageniushub.com/co-create. Until next time, breathe, listen, and keep following your heart's next gentle step.